Remember that 160 is a sustained wind around that eye wall. It's not a gust. Can you imagine 160-mile-per-hour sustained winds? It's just incredibly strong. Notice how we're already getting some convection out into Florida, but the bulk of the system is still offshore and won't move in until later on this evening. The track from the Hurricane Center takes us into or just south of Tampa Bay still right around 2 a.m. Thursday morning. So tomorrow morning, maybe a little quicker than that. We'll see how it varies here. But notice it goes from 3 down to 4. At least that's the forecast. Remember, these things don't always behave and follow the forecast, but that weakening comes from a few things. So the satellite this morning, you see that well-defined eye that we have has kind of closed up a little bit as it's encountering really two things that are going to slow this down a little bit. We've got higher wind shear off towards the north. Remember, hurricanes like to vent. They like to do their own thing in their own atmosphere. They don't like things interfering with that atmosphere. And what wind shear does, it takes the top of those clouds and it says, we're going to blow them over here versus where you want them. And that tends to not just elongate the storm and stretch it out a little bit. That's why we're expecting some growth in terms of size, but it also starts to disrupt and weaken that center of circulation. So that's one of the reasons why we're expecting to go from a Cat 5 down to a Cat 4. Also, this is water vapor. This shows where the moisture is, where dry air is. Dry air has been slowly starting to wrap into the system. It's going to take some time, but indication is that that would disrupt the southern end of the storm. And you can see that with Futurecast. So here we go, noon today, we're getting rain bands into Florida. The bulk of the strong rain bands come in this evening. But look at the dry air, how the southern flank of the storm system doesn't have a lot of convection, not a lot of rain with it. This is going to be mainly around the north. Tampa, depending on the track of this exact center, is going to be a crucial spot. You're going to get raked by some heavy rain, that outer eye wall as well. So damaging winds, just incredible winds expected to move in tonight. But it all depends on that center. This would set up a flood threat for Tampa, also tornado threat inland on the northeastern quadrant of the system. We're expecting perhaps Cat 3 winds as far inland as Orlando. So Disney theme parks, all the parks going to get blasted by some strong wind there. And then notice how as we go into tomorrow morning, it's like nothing happened. Well, it's not like nothing happened, but the system will be gone and the rain will be out. That track, as I mentioned, for Tampa Bay itself, if it heads off towards the north, which is what we're not expecting right now, but if it does, just another 15, 20 miles north, that brings that flow of historic storm surge into Tampa Bay itself, likely at levels not seen in 100 years in the Tampa area. Good news is we're expecting it just south or over, so that would bring that flow out of the bay. It wouldn't empty the bay because there's still a lot of water coming in, but it would certainly lessen that storm surge threat. As of right now, from Tampa Bay down towards Sarasota, Fort Myers, even down towards Naples, expecting anywhere from about a 10-foot to as much as 15-foot rise in seawater. That's that push of wind blowing that ocean water up and into areas that don't typically see it. The other thing is the wind. I think this is going to be the huge issue for Tampa itself. This is Cat 3 and Cat 4 winds, the major hurricane winds in orange. Watch how it comes in. Tampa gets really strong wind tonight and tomorrow morning. It gets inland into Orlando, and then eventually it's outbound by tomorrow morning. But that wind is going to be a huge issue from the system. Haven't changed this since yesterday. Orlando, extreme impacts, and then catastrophic for areas like Tampa, St. Pete, also down towards Sarasota. This storm is going to rock areas of Florida over the next 24 hours, certainly some crucial time. Hopefully we get some dry weather on the backside of this so that cleanup can begin without a lot of problems. But this is certainly going to be a huge storm nationally and for the state of Florida itself.